Good morning, y'all. Welcome to 10 Minutes with Dr. Bree, a mindset podcast. Dr. Brianna Whiteside here, and today is January 28th. Before we hop into today's podcast, I want to remind you of a few things. Of course, you can grab your free strategy ebook, Strategic Shifts, at BriannaWhiteside.com. You can grab your signed copy of Words and Authority, How the Breath of God Sanctions Kingdom Authority, at BriannaWhiteside.com. And you can book a one-on-one strategy session with me since I'm off sabbatical at BriannaWhiteside.com. And so if you're hoping to bridge the gap between your goals and where you are, you need a strategy. That's the only way to do it. And I am so excited to help you do that. So you can get all those materials and more information over at BriannaWhiteside.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for my mailing list. I want to journey with you. I want to keep you in the loop. I want to keep you in the know, and I want to keep you encouraged. Now that we've gotten it out of the way, if you're listening on YouTube, can you please like, subscribe, and share or comment? And also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. Everything counts, y'all. In today's podcast, I want to talk to you about MYOB. When I was a child in school, we used to say MYOB to people who were being nosy, who were in our business. And if you don't know what MYOB is, it's mind your own business. Yeah, mind your own business. I know that we live in a culture right now, or in a time right now, where it's easy to mind everyone else's business. There's scandal after scandal. Sometimes it feels like believers are going wild. The political landscape is charged. And there are a lot of unsettling things happening in the world today. And it's so easy to shift your focus. It's so easy to get wrapped up in emotionalism. It's so easy to get off of your square. But I don't want you to do that. A lot of what's happening right now is distracting us from something major. While I don't know specifically what that major thing is, I do know that a lot of this is orchestrated to just be a distraction. Essentially, while we're looking at one thing, we don't see the other things that are in the background. Have you all ever saw that video where they have something close up to the screen and you're paying attention to the screen, and then you don't see the monkey dancing in the background? And then at the end of the video, they say, "I bet you didn't see the monkey." And everyone's like, "What monkey?" Then when you go back and replay the video, you actually see the monkey that's clear as day dancing in the background, but you're so hyper-focused on what is directly in front of you. I think we're in that type of time right now. For this reason, I am encouraging you to mind your business, but also to mind the business that pays you. You have a lot to focus on, right? If you have structured your year in the way that I suggested, by focusing on 1 or 2 goals every quarter, where are you with your goals? Have you been paying attention to them? How have you been investing in them? Have you made progress? Because we are about to enter into the second month of the year. And if you have not made progress with these goals, then you really just don't have time to be distracted right now. Essentially, you really don't have time to focus on things that are not in alignment with what you said you wanted at the top of the year, that are not in alignment with what's in your heart, that are not in alignment with God's will for you and your decision and your decidedness towards your destiny. You cannot afford, especially right now when things are accelerating, you cannot afford to mind other people's business. You cannot afford to save everybody else, to put your cape on, to save and comment and do all of the things that don't have anything to do with you. Now, I'm not telling you to abandon your family and abandon your responsibility. Like, yes, we have responsibilities in our life that extend to other people, and I want you to pay attention to those. I'm talking about you paying attention to the scandals, you paying attention to who's saying what, you paying attention to who's pledging what, you paying attention to what so many other people are doing with their lives, and your life is passing you by. We're 28 days in. The next time we look up, we're going to be 50 days in, and another 50 and another 50. And then by the time you know it, the year is gone and you may not have made as much progress as you had hoped. Why? Because you weren't minding the business that pays you. You wasn't minding your own business. You weren't facing your front. You were not looking at what you had going on as opposed to just looking at what other people had going on. Essentially, I'm trying to remind you that you have enough to focus on. Because you have enough on your plate, and because you have enough to focus on, you don't have the privilege to mind other people's business. We're in a season right now where we don't have the luxury of time to drag our feet. Well, we don't have the luxury of time to just sit in the back seat and just say, Jesus, take the wheel. And he's like, where you at? And you in the back seat. You're supposed to be a co-pilot here. You're supposed to be in the passenger seat. You're supposed to be paying attention to the things that he tells you to pay attention to and do the things that he's encouraging you to do to set yourself up for a brighter year. Most people don't succeed not because they don't have enough time, but because they've split their focus to accommodate things that don't serve them. They've split their focus to accommodate the lifestyles of other people. Why? Why are you doing that? This is your life, YOLO, right? As we used to say back in the day. But you don't have the time to mind someone else's business. You don't have the time to be heavily invested in someone else's life when your life is ticking away. One thing that keeps me sober-minded, especially in this season, is the element of time. A lot of people overestimate their time on earth, right? Move around in the world as if they'll have enough time to do what they know to do today. They'll put it off till tomorrow and another tomorrow and another tomorrow. And it's fascinating to me because you don't know Father Time. You have no control over Father Time. You don't know when your time is up here. And so a lot of people overestimate their time saying, oh, I'm just going to do this later. I'll get to it later. And later never comes because you don't know how much time you have. And I know we don't like to think about that because we like to think that we're going to have so many more years to accomplish our goals, but that's just not the case. It's not true. You're in a delusion, and it's a strong delusion to keep you distracted, to keep you not focused on what you're supposed to do, and to prevent you from doing what you know to do now. We must snap out of this slumber. We must snap out of this sleep that we have been in for so long because, of course, we see the things that are going on in the world and we see that time is dwindling. So since we see that time is dwindling, don't you think it would behoove each of us to pay attention to our own business, to pay attention to what we have going on, to put our head in the sand and focus? Focus. You must focus in order to make it this year. And I've been encouraging you to be ambidextrous. I've been encouraging you to be both and. I've been pushing you forward. That is just not random. That's just not because I'm in this particular season. The world has shifted into a very peculiar season, and those who take advantage of it will succeed. Those who do not will not. And we don't know what's coming upon this earth. We don't know what the next 100 days will look like. So therefore, we need to be prepared. We can't afford to keep gambling with our life. We can't afford to be gambling with our attention and even our affections. You all, this is a serious time right now. Okay. And if you have been sensing some type of heaviness, if you have been sensing some type of strong discomfort, you know what I'm talking about. This is no time for you to be playing around. This is no time for you to absolve yourself from the responsibility that you know that you are called to carry, and that is yours to carry, your burden. This is no time to do that. We cannot rest on our laurels. We must pay attention and do the things that we know to do now. Now, of course, are you going to be tired more? Yes. Is it going to stretch you? Of course. Are you going to cry? Probably. But that does not remove what you have to do. It still does not erase the fact that you have to show up and you have to move forward and you have to do the things. You do. You have to do it, and you start doing it by minding your own business. You start doing it by wishing and hoping that things will be different and by making things different for you, one step at a time, one decision at a time. This is how you get from one place to another. I'm going to leave you with that. I feel like I've been talking long enough. Your girl is about to head to the gym. I have not been as strict on my weight loss goals this month as I should have been. But I'm here. I'm going to show up, and I have about 10 more pounds to lose, right? And so I have to go do what I have to do. You have to do what you have to do. And I'm going to leave you with that. Happy Tuesday. If you haven't liked the podcast, if you're listening on YouTube, please like it, comment, share it with a friend. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. I'll see you tomorrow in another installment of 10 Minutes with Dr. Bree. Bye.